So, most of you may or may not remember years ago when I made my top 50 list for my personal favorite Thomas and Friends songs, and Brave Little Engine was originally ranked as my #1 favorite.
Yeah, I know, I was drunk. I don't know what I was thinking.
But over the years, there have been a lot more songs, and since the Wubba era is at a halt, I thought now was the time to redo my list for the classic, hit, and CGI era songs to determine my new rankings. So we're going to be looking at my new list for all the classic series songs. Keep in mind, these are all based on my opinion. And before anyone asks, I am not counting the Japanese song as I have not heard it in full, and certainly not that weird Christmas ROM that takes forever to get through. And I'm also not going to be counting the songs from Magic Railroad as they do not qualify as official Thomas songs. Even though I cheated and bent the rules last time. Anyway, so let's start off with what I personally think is the worst song from the classic era, and I'm already preparing for the backlash. There once was an engine who ran away.
What?
Yeah, I really don't like this song. At one time I did when I was a kid, but listening to it now, it's really not that great. I already hate the episode that this is from, Fergus Breaks the Rules, or if you're a dummy American like me, Thomas and the Search for Fergus. I could really care less about Fergus as a character. He became one of the many underused, he's really not all that interesting, and I just find him straight up annoying.
Do it right!
Shut up! As much as I adore Junior singing, this song is just one that I can easily do without. So with that out of the way, we continue on with what I consider the meh and okay songs, starting with one of my least favorites, Sir Topham Hatt. This is another song that I did like when I was younger, but it just doesn't do anything for me now. I don't think it's a bad idea to have a song about the controller of the railway, since it does give people a bit of insight as to who and what he does, but the thing that absolutely triggered me, especially in my younger days, the song itself is not 100% accurate with the backstories, and that used to piss me off so badly. I should also point out that Topham is not exactly one of my favorite characters in the model series. I much prefer silly, goofy, comedic relief Fat Man. Bite me. Again, I don't think this is a bad song, but I just don't really care for it all that much. Next up is Winter Wonderland. Now, as I said in my Snowy Surprise review, I don't hate this song, I just prefer the Snow song more because this one to me just sounds a bit generic. And plus, I'm not really that big of a fan with the kids shouting in some parts.
Look everybody, there's Thomas, and Percy, and James and Gordon and Henry, Edwin and Toby too!
I will not take away the fact that the wintry shots used in this song are still really beautiful, and I do like the little bell sounds they include within the instrumental, but overall, it's just not one of my more preferred favorite songs. And then we have Donald's Duck. This one I was always kind of 50-50 with. It's got a nice little beat to it, I'll admit, and plus the probability is kinda cute. I will say that what makes this song stand out is the stop motion, and some of my favorite moments are when she's climbing all over Donald or dancing in front of the crowd during the chorus. The only other thing that I don't really like about this song is how unprofessional looking the bouncing cloud looks. I really don't know if this was the first song they attempted the whole bouncing cloud thing, but if it was, then it totally shows. I just don't like the movement of it. It's not as smooth as the rest of the songs, if you get what I mean. Overall, it's just an okay song to me. Up next, we have Harold the Helicopter. I get why there's a lot of fans who enjoy this song. The beat to this absolutely slaps, and visually, it captures Harold fantastic. I will say that as a kid, I didn't really care for the slower pace it had compared to some of the other badass songs, but looking at it now, it does actually work in its favor, and I do appreciate it a hell of a lot more than what I originally did. It's nowhere near a favorite of mine, but it is nice to listen to every once in a while. And next up, we might have a very controversial pick, Boo Choo Choo. Now, here's something I found a bit funny. If you listen to what ThomasFan261 says,
if I had ever watched this song as a kid, I would have had sleepless nights for days, man, I swear to God.
Ironically, that's how I felt when I was younger. When I first saw this off the Jet Engine DVD, this song made me even more terrified of the dark. Of course, after a while I sucked it up, and ironically again, it started to help me a little as I got older. Weird, right? And while I do find it a bit catchy, it's not even remotely close to being a favorite. And I do see where people are coming from when this song sounds like it's meant for younger children, as it does sound a bit, well, childlike. Definitely not the best of the classic series, but it's not completely terrible compared to some later ones. Coming up next on the list is 5 New Engines in the Shed. This was a song that I was kind of on again, off again with for some time. I like the beat to it, and the visuals for the newbies are really nice, but what I'm bugged over is why are Salty and Harvey mentioned in the song with the new characters if this is classified as a Season 7 song? There were other new characters introduced, so why weren't they used? My guess is maybe they couldn't come up with lyrics to sound as if they belonged in the song. Salty and Harvey may have already been introduced, but their intros have a much nicer ring compared to what could have been if they added Spencer or Fergus. Overall, it's just another pretty okay song. And now we're coming up to the good songs, starting with the Whistle Song. I don't know why this wasn't released on any home media releases. It's so freaking catchy. I never knew about this song until late 2015, and when I heard it, I couldn't stop listening to it. I can also understand why some people might find this a bit annoying, since there are whistle sounds that play throughout the entire song. But visually, the shots they use of all the engines blowing their whistles are really wonderfully shot, especially with some of the more deleted and extended scenes. An all-around, really great song. Next up on my list, we have Rules and Regulations. This was another song that I had never even heard of until I had listened to it years later off a really odd Australian Thomas CD. It's another one that's pretty much at a slower pace, but it's another that works in its favor. I really like the overall message it tries to tap into, that being what can happen if you don't follow the rules. Basically, chaos would be all over, people getting into trouble left and right.
In short, you have a ghastly mess.
I've also heard some people say that this song has just become forgotten in time, and that's a real shame. I definitely think it deserves a hell of a lot more spotlight time, and it really should have gotten some kind of media release. It's a really good song. Next up, we have Percy's Seaside Trip. Another that has such a catchy beat, you'll be repeating this for hours in your head. I love how this one is completely laid back and definitely has that summer-esque kind of feel to it. The lyrics to this song are so cleverly written. You can tell that Mike and Junior were trying to make this a fun song, and they nailed it. Definitely one of theirs and Season 5's best songs. A perfect summertime classic. Next on the list is Salty. Another one that I had never even heard of as a kid. Seriously, why aren't these on any VHS or DVDs? Salty is such a fun song to listen to, as it first breaks out into a pirate-like shanty, then transfers into the kids singing the chorus. The song itself just perfectly describes Salty to a T, and it actually helped me to greatly appreciate what kind of a character Salty is, and this is exactly why he is now one of my favorite characters. You cannot find a more saltier song than this. A perfect song for him, indeed. Up next, we have Troublesome Trucks. Now, don't get me wrong, I like this version of the song, but let's be real. Nothing is going to beat the Adventure Begins version. It just works so much better here. But as for the original, again, it's not too bad. I do like the beat to it, but it's just not the same as the revamped version. I think it's the kids singing that partially make it annoying, just a small bit. Not a bad song by any means, it's just not The Adventure Begins. And now we come to the most overplayed, overrated song in my book, Accidents Will Happen. I loved the hell out of this song when I was a kid, but the amount of attention this song grabs is unreal. When you have kids who play with their trains or people who do terrible trains recreations, how does it get 1 million views? I don't understand it. Even ones that do nicely edited music video recreations, which I myself have done also, but they still surpass 1 million views. Why? What is so special about this song? Is it the cleverly written lyrics, or maybe it's the over-the-top crashes? Somebody please tell me, I want to hear your thoughts. I still think it's a pretty good song, but it's not one that I would listen to on repeat over and over and over and...
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Next up is another equally overrated song, Never Never Give Up. I really don't understand how these two songs can attract so many views. The positive thing I can give to it is that I like the countdown sequences for the engines, and the transitions with the numbers was a very clever touch. The overall message they try to pass on is a very nice one too. It's something that all children and even adults can take to heart. Another really good song. Coming up, we have another fun one, Let's Have a Race. This song is lit. When I first heard this off the Sing Along and Stories VHS, I immediately loved it, despite it being centered around an episode that wasn't exactly a favorite of mine. Every time this song would play, I'd either run around the house or outside pretending that I was racing against Thomas and Bertie. That's how fun this song was to me. It's an all-around, fantastically fun song. Next up, we have Gone Fishing, and I'm talking about the Junior Campbell version. There's quite a number of people that do not care for this song, but I'm the complete opposite. I had this ranked way below on my top 50 list, but after I heard it countless times, I have grown a much bigger appreciation for it. Junior singing in this is without a doubt amazing. It's another one of those laid-back songs, again with another summer-esque kind of feel to it, and it most certainly slaps. Such an incredible song. And up next on the list is It's Great to Be an Engine. I cannot stress this enough how much this song made me want to be an engine like Thomas. And ironically enough, it actually wasn't the island song that made me think Sodor might have been a real place. It was actually this song, all because of this one part.
Just think how wonderful it would be to live on the magical island of Sodor, helping Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends all day long. It would be like a dream come true. If only I could be an engine too.
I cannot be the only one who thought the same thing. Nothing really much else to say here other than this is definitely another one of Season 5's best songs. Next up is another that is just as good, Every Cloud Has a Silver Lining. What a magnificent piece of art. The overall message to this one is so freaking good. This song I feel like has helped a ton of people out who have ever fell down or wanted to give up. I cannot tell you how many times I've been in the exact same spot, and just listening to this song would instantly cheer me up. I also adore the fact that it's a clever little twist on Bill and Ben's theme, which is one of my personal favorites of the show. But overall, this song is a bop. Well done, Mike and Junior. And the next one on the list is Really Useful Engine. This was another song that I had previously way lower on my 50 list. I originally thought it was highly overrated, which it still kind of is, but I don't think it's on the level of, well, you know. I will say though that without a doubt, the best version of this is 1000% the Magic Railroad version, but sadly, we're not counting that. Boo! As for the Adventure Begins version, it's fine, but it's nowhere near as good as the other two. I'm not really a fan of the slow pace. But anyways, you couldn't have picked a better song to describe Thomas. We all know him as that cheeky little blue bastard who loves to get into mischief, but at the end of the day, as the song describes, he truly is a really useful engine. Such a memorable classic. And up next we have The Red Balloon, yet another that I didn't grow up with. I know this song was on the Hooray for Thomas VHS, but that was one of the tapes I never owned as a kid, and that was probably a good thing. I think it was in either 2014 or 15 when I finally heard this song, and I fell over backwards at how beautiful this song sounded. I think it was a pretty big risk making a song that wasn't mainly focused around the engines, and I think it actually paid off. I also love how they throw in just a tad bit from James and the Red Balloon, which does get me thinking, Why wasn't this on the Red Balloon VHS? Would have made more sense, honestly. It may or may not be the most popular song of Season 7, but it is truly a beautiful one to relax to. And just missing out on the top 10 is the Snow Song, another that is equally beautiful. I cannot tell you how many times I play this song whenever I see it snowing outside. There's just something so calming and magical about it, if you get what I mean. And also, the winter shots used in this are breathtaking. I will say, my favorite part about the song is when the music pitch changes and I get major goosebumps. My god, what a song. Alright, now we have reached the top 10. So, to kick this part off, we have Thomas's Anthem. This had to be in the top 10. It's the music video that started it all. It's a remarkable introduction to the series, as well as Thomas and the many friends he has made from the first 3 seasons. And also, the instrumental is a freaking eargasm. You will not stop humming to this clever play on Thomas's theme. I can't lie when I say this song does tend to get overused a lot, but I think it's for very good reason. It's a timeless classic that still holds up to this day. Next up, we have Down by the Docks. I wasn't too big of a fan of this way back when, but my god has it grown on me. Especially the pitched down version, which is what I like listening more to personally. It really captured everything about the docks perfectly. The shots used are nice with some of the unique camera angles, particularly this one. I'm not even bothered with there not being a bouncing cloud. I personally like the music videos that have none, or just the old style text. I get why some might find that a bit annoying, but that's just me. Anywho, all throughout the song you can tell the kids had a fun time singing to this, and I certainly enjoy singing along myself. Next one up is Come for the Ride. I was obsessed with this song when I was a kid. This was another that I used to run around the house or outside to because I loved the fast pace of the beat and watching the engines go absolutely bonkers. I would pretty much listen to this song on repeat all the freaking time. It's such a catchy song. Coming up next, we have Toby, another that I have always loved since childhood. I've said time and time again that Toby was always a favorite character of mine, so this song was a nice little dedication to him. It perfectly describes one of the most remarkable characters in the series, right down to the cowcatchers. Yes, I just made that joke. Deal with it. But anyways, this is as wholesome as you can ever get, and it totally deserves the praise. Next up on the list is the Island Song. What better way to perfectly describe the magical world of the island of Sodor? I'd say this is the most beautiful song out of all the other ones that were slightly similar to this. I thought this was going to be just a bit higher, but alas, one line made a difference. That doesn't make the song terrible in any way. It's just confusing to have that line thrown in when the purpose was to make children believe Sodor was real to them. But despite this one minor flaw, it's still an incredibly amazing song. Coming in at the 5th spot, we have none other than James the Really Splendid Engine. It's yet again another twist. Seriously, Mike and Junior are freaking musical geniuses when playing around with the characters' themes. They don't mess around. Anyways, this is the best way you could perfectly describe James. The song is catchy, the visuals are amazing, you just gotta love this glamorous, sassy devil. Hands down, this is the best song from Season 6. And the next song on the list is Little Engines. This is an earworm. I love how it sounds like a march dedicated to all the little engines and the hard work they do despite their size. I remember freaking out over this song when I first heard it off the Percy's Chocolate Crunch VHS, and I would play it over and over again. Mike O'Donnell's version of this song many years later is far more superior sounding, but the original still holds up as a memorable one. Next up, we have That's What Friends Are For, another song that has been long forgotten about. I'm actually pretty surprised that this never made it onto any home media release. It's an awesome friendship song that perfectly describes Thomas and his friends. The children in this are really good for one, and the lyrics just grab at your heartstrings. It really is an overlooked song, and it definitely deserves a lot more attention. And next in the second spot, we have Night Train. Now this used to be my favorite song back when, until such a time when better songs kept taking its place. But it's still a really good song. What makes this one stand out is that it's all done at night, the lower tone of the kids singing is something we've never heard, and the atmospheric shots they use are incredible. It almost feels like you're on a journey aboard the night train itself. And that's what I absolutely adore about it. A very stellar song. That just leaves one more song that I haven't mentioned yet. And I think the best song from the classic series is Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. I have to bring this up again that the message in this is outstanding. It's one lesson that everyone will eventually learn in life, especially kids. Not to mention, but it's centered around one of my all-time favorite Season 1 episodes, Terrence the Tractor, or for those in the UK, Thomas Terrence and the Snow. I especially love the twist on Terrence's theme for the song itself. Terrence's theme is another one of my personal favorites, so I applaud Mike and Jr. for that. Even the transition of the book and pages was a really nice touch. I could just about go on forever about how much I adore this song, but for now, that's it folks. That is my new rank list for all the classic series songs. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my choices, and feel free to tell me some of your rankings. I would love to hear them. Until then, I will see you all next time.